Hey everybody, this is Yolanda. I'm going to talk about one of my favorite movies out there. This is The Last Emperor, which was released in 1987. It was directed by Bernardo Bertolucci, who directed Last Tango in Paris. And this is the first of what he called the Oriental Trilogy, which included The Sheltering Sky with Deborah Winger and Little Buddha with Keanu Reeves. I know that's a little hard to swallow, but it's actually an okay film. But The Last Emperor, the story deals with Puyi at the age of 3 was made the Emperor of China. You would figure that he would have some power, but he was basically a figurehead. And we see how he is used throughout the film. He's basically taken from his mother, never to see his mother again, and he's put in this beautiful city, the Forbidden City. And the film was actually filmed in the Forbidden City, which was a rarity. And the security was so tight that even Peter O'Toole, who played Puyi's tutor, forgot his pass and he couldn't get in even though he was in the film. That's how strict security was. How it's even more strict that Queen Elizabeth couldn't even go to the Forbidden City because the production crew had precedence over that. This is a great film. We see Puyi as a young boy and as a older man, at this point played by John Lone, and he's basically a victim of circumstance. He's put in a position of absolutely no power. He's just a symbol. He has lots of servants. He has food testers that have to test his food. It's like a circus. He has all this supposed freedom, but even the most beautiful of cages, as the saying goes, is beautiful cages is still a prison. There's one particular scene when he finds out that his mother passes away, and he desperately wants to go to pay his final respects. And just when he's trying to leave the city, the gates are closed to him. So he can't mourn his mother in person. He has to basically mourn her in private. It comes to a point where he is kicked out of the Forbidden City because while he's stuck in this time uh, in the Forbidden City, all outside the Forbidden City of China, the structure is changing. So he's kicked out. He thinks he's going to have some freedom, but then the Japanese decide to use him as a puppet emperor for their purposes. And during this film, we're seeing basically his start from puppet emperor to his endings, where he is re-educated when he's captured, and his life ends simply as a gardener. And that's a far cry from being a lord of 10,000 years, so the saying goes. There's two versions of this film. There's a 163 version that was released in theaters, and there was a 218-minute version, which was mistakenly called the director's cut. In all intents and purposes, this was supposed to have been a four-part miniseries for Italian television, which helped finance the movie. You can see both versions on the Criterion copy of The Last Emperor, and I strongly recommend you getting this because not only do you have two versions of the film, you also have some great documentaries on that. You also have inside a book which goes into even more details of The Last Emperor. There's some excellent articles for that. So you could definitely get it on eBay or Amazon at a pretty reasonable price. Um, as for the film itself, you can pretty much tell how much work and love went into it. The colors, the costumes, everything. The acting, you have John Lone as Puyi, again a victim of circumstance. You also have Peter O'Toole. You also have Joan Chen, who plays the emperor's wife, who just basically disintegrates because of his feelings toward her, which is pretty much non-existent as time goes on, and she becomes a hopeless opium addict, and that's really tragic. Um, you also have Ryuichi Sakamoto, who also, along with David Byrne from Talking Heads, created a fantastic score, and they won an Oscar for that. Way to go, David Byrne, Talking Heads. This is a great film. You can basically tell with the colors, when in the Forbidden City and everything, there's some beautiful colors, the reds, golds. But when real life sort of sets in, the colors go gray. They're dark. Again, it's very majestic. It's the editing, the costumes that won 9 Oscars, including Best Picture. No Oscars for the acting. I think Peter O'Toole should at least been should have won for this. It's nice that Peter O'Toole got an honorary Oscar, but man, there were so many films that he should have been nominated for, and this is definitely one of them. And again, this is The Last Emperor. I really love this film. It's hard to believe it's been over 20 years and counting since I first saw this film. Um, I really like the film so much. I have 4 particular books on the Last Emperor of China. I have his book, which is called the From Emperor to Citizen. I have the book The Last Emperor, and 2 other books on the subject. So I really like this film. So again, The Last Emperor, definitely check it out. This is a great film to watch, especially on the weekend, and you just want to watch something truly majestic. The Last Emperor will definitely be the ticket.